Can we talk about the political and economic state of the world right now? Welcome if you're new. At this point, everyone is new. This is literally the first video on the channel. Subscribe now to join the Day 1 Club, and let's check out what I have for you today. We're going to be going over this clip from a Dean Withers live stream. I'll have his link in the description below, and I highly recommend you check him out if you like to work on your anger management. It's very therapeutic for all the wrong reasons.
So I guess for a backstory, I served in the Marine Corps for over 5 years. There's a sense of morality, structure, personal integrity. The JJ did tie buckle. I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but it's like the tenets of the Marine Corps.
Are you saying that same morality, structure, and integrity is true of Trump?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, that's a really stupid thing to say.
Now's the time to tell you that I'm not focusing on Dean's side of the argument here. I could easily go, there's an ad hominem and Dean's trying to back his opponent into a corner before the debate even starts, but here's the deal. Guess which side I'm on? Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I think there's absolutely zero reason to support Trump, and I'm tired of seeing conservatives think that they beat Dean in a debate. Dean's track record is like 1,000-0, and conservatives don't realize that they're ill-equipped. Am I claiming to be the smartest person in the room? No. I had to Google what an ad hominem was. I just have a lot of opinions, and I need an outlet that's cheaper than therapy. Let's press on.
He has no integrity.
I don't think so.
He has no integrity. He has no integrity. He lied about the big beautiful bill that he just got passed through Congress, having no tax on Social Security. He was posting graphics on Truth Social saying that no tax on Social Security. This is why you should support the bill. The bill doesn't include no tax on Social Security. It's literally a bold-faced lie.
I think that's really easy to say when you're fighting with constituents and you have to appeal to the same political groups that push. It's not just his things.
Get ready for a red herring.
Like, there's a big part of it that I don't agree with that they put in for the gun laws, and someone's secretary deleted a piece of it. And we lost that part of gun rights, and it was for suppressors. And to say that that's Trump's fault is kind of ignorant and ridiculous.
Dean's a debater. You can see it on his face that he knows the guest is bringing up an irrelevant point, and with one swift sentence redirects the conversation back to where it began. The claim at this point in the debate is that Trump has no integrity. Dean has provided his proof to support this claim, and the guest has yet to refute that point or provide a counterpoint to the claim.
What I'm calling is Trump's fault is that he's been saying that the bill includes no tax on Social Security. He said this before it was passed and after it was passed, even though it does not include no tax on Social Security.
But the other constituents and people who are part of the bill adjusted pieces of it. It's not
I'm saying that he said this before it was passed, okay, and then even before it was passed, it didn't include no tax on Social Security, and after it was passed, after all final adjustments made in the Senate, he was still saying that it included no tax on Social Security. He just lied.
I don't think that's a lie. I think
it is a lie because the bill didn't include no tax on Social Security.
Bill.
This point doesn't even make sense to me. It feels like the guest is trying to fall back to an argument that he feels comfortable with rather than engaging with Dean, because Dean's challenging his logic.
You continue to say it's a transforming bill. Okay, I'm going to repeat this for one last time. Can you promise that you're going to listen incredibly closely to me?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, so he said that the bill included no tax on Social Security when it was originally in the House and didn't include no tax on Social Security. Then he said that the bill included no tax on Social Security. When it went to the Senate, it was revised and still didn't include no tax on Social Security. And then he said that it included no tax on Social Security when the revised bill from the Senate went back to the House and got confirmed. And then he said that there's no tax on Social Security after that same confirmed bill that didn't include no tax on Social Security was passed by the totality of Congress. So throughout the last four revisions, when it did not include no tax on Social Securities, and even after the final version of the bill was finally passed through both the House and the Senate, he was still saying that there's no tax on Social Securities. So don't just say it was changed and revised.
The suppressor changed the day before the bill was presented.
We're not talking about the suppressor change.
I know, but that's a good example of the changes that were made to it that weren't by him.
The guest literally knows that he made a red herring argument here, and he's not listening to Dean at all because he's waiting for his chance to speak. There's no room for productive dialogue here.
It was just people. It wasn't even a politician we voted for who changed a piece of the bill. If you don't think that there's an issue with that and that's inherently wrong, that has nothing to do with Trump. That has to do with everybody else in DC.
Okay, I want you to repeat what I just said.
This is so simple, but such a good move by Dean. This guest, who we're gonna call Nick, is only focused on trying to change the point of the conversation.
You said that, yes, he kept stating that there was no tax on Social Security.
Even though the bill never included no tax on Social Security.
I know, and I am giving you a physical example of how much people would change the bill. I mean, the thing's got as many pages.
But I'm saying that part of it was never in the bill to begin with.
Dean's second claim of the debate is made here, and the topic of conversation will now shift to this claim. His second claim still backs up his first claim, which is that Trump has no integrity, but the guest treats this as a different claim.
It was supposed to. I know that. Why else would he say that? I mean, we got the no tax on tips up to, what is it, 20?
Don't talk about no tax on tips. Talk about no tax on Social Security. No tax on Social Security was never in the bill. Okay, through its totality period of revision, he continued to say that it included no tax on Social Security. And then even after it was completely revised and passed by the whole Congress, then he also said there's no tax on Social Security.
Because other people have changed the pieces of that, yes.
Dude, are you rage baiting me?
Unfortunately, it's sometimes hard to tell when a guest is rage baiting because the person they support is rage inducing by nature. After watching this whole debate, I don't believe that Nick is a troll and instead actually thinks that he's engaging in a good faith conversation.
No, not at all.
I just said that the bill never included
it. It's purely logical.
I just said that the bill never included it.
It was supposed to, yes, but
even it was supposed to, it didn't. It didn't include it.
It happens all the time.
There it is. This is a bandwagon fallacy, which is basically someone saying, well, everyone does it, so it's okay. Like, no, Nick, even if the legislation changed all of the time before being signed into law under the same name, that does not make it okay.
What happens all the time? What politicians like Trump lie all the time and show that they have no integrity?
Yeah, even Dean is keeping track of this argument in the debate. I literally have a pen and notepad out, and I'm going back and forth in my editing timeline trying to track the conversation to present it to a YouTube audience, and he just does it naturally. Dude, if I was debating against him, I'd probably stop right there. He's not budging from this path.
With certain districts, and he's even explained this, the constituents with different districts have different financials put into specific sections of that bill. It got stuff so full of crap that
what
it
the
consistently
fuck is
got
going?
changed.
I had the same thought. I'm not sure if it's the way that Nick is speaking, but his argument sounds like a lot of big words put into a sentence for no reason. And it sounds like he's reading. And then to throw in a cheeky, she even explained this in there, which, mind you, is an appeal to authority and completely wasted due to his following word salad.
Dude.
I know this is blowing your mind, but it's how politics works.
This is an ad hominem that I'll point out because it's directed at Dean, who we stan. Stop the Dean glaze. He's never gonna see this. And if he does, Dean, you should hire me as an editor. I'm good. Back to the ad hominem, Nick is trying to insult Dean's wit after confidently adding absolutely nothing to the conversation.
So the bill never included no tax on Social Security. And then even after it passed both the House and the Senate, he still said that it included no tax on Social Security.
That was the original intent until other constituents got their hands on it.
So why would he say that the bill includes no tax on Social Security if it doesn't include no tax on Social Security?
Because why would someone who isn't being paid off by big corporations touching the bill, like the suppressor thing? And there's a plenty of other examples.
Okay, you actually didn't answer my question.
Nick is so annoying and full of himself, dude. He keeps saying things in a tone like he's winning this debate, and he's saying nothing relevant. If this was a TV show, I'd skip this B plot, and it wouldn't even matter.
Okay, I'm gonna revise it. I'm gonna be very clear. So why did he say that the final bill that was passed by Congress included no tax on Social Security?
Because it was supposed to be in there.
Oh, okay. So it was supposed to be in it, so he could just say that it is.
Oh, I mean, why?
So for instance, I just want to clarify. If I'm single,
the tax on tips wasn't clearly stated.
One second, sir. So if I'm single and a woman invites me to a date and I'm supposed to be at the restaurant at 6:30,
it's already a bad analogy.
And it's 6:30 and I'm not at the restaurant because I'm supposed to be at the restaurant. Can I lie to her and tell her that I'm at the restaurant even though I'm at home?
I mean, if you want out of that date, man.
Would that be a lie, though?
I'm gonna insult Nick, and this will apply to multiple other Trump supporters. Nick does not understand an analogy.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
It was a yes or no example, and his response could have been skipped because of how nothing it was. If Dean stayed home during this hypothetical, it's obviously implied that he wanted out of the date.
If I told her that I was at the restaurant and I wasn't at the restaurant?
What kind of analogy is this?
Because you're saying it was supposed to be in the bill, so even though it wasn't in the bill, he could still say it's in the bill.
Again.
Okay, don't interrupt me. Calm down. Don't interrupt me. I just want to make sure that is your argument that it's supposed to be in the bill, but it wasn't in the bill. And even though it wasn't in the bill because it was supposed to be in the bill, he could say it's in the bill.
If you have people touching the bill, again, we have proof that a non-voted for secretary changed a specific part of the bill and deleted a whole wording of it. And you're going to sit here and tell me, oh my God, we didn't get the social taxes off of Social Security, which don't even get me started on that.
This is where that anger management comes into play. What do you mean, don't get me started on that? What are you even talking about right now, Nick?
Just Social Security as a platform as it all. The older generation fucked that for the rest of us. But let's keep going.
So I just want to clarify, your argument here is because a secretary changed something to do with gun laws.
Oh, that's not the only one.
Okay,
that's not the only one.
Stop interrupting me. Calm down. So your argument here is that some secretary changed something to do with gun laws in the Big Beautiful Bill.
Yep.
Therefore, when Donald Trump says the Big Beautiful Bill includes no tax on Social
Anything in that
Security,
bill
you're still interrupting me.
Anything within that bill
Why
is
are
liable.
you still interrupting me?
Oh, get over yourself, man.
This guy's ego is artificially inflated, and what I mean by that is he thinks he's got a balloon full of helium, but it's nothing but a bunch of exhales. Dean only interrupts people who are spreading misinformation or propaganda, otherwise he lets guests speak. Nick is interrupting Dean because he's not listening to Dean, which is an annoying thing to do in a debate where you chose to come up here. Nick, I need you to take that balloon and...
Am I talking? I have a question. Am I talking to the grown man in the profile picture or the little baby? Because right now I feel like I'm talking to the little baby.
Yeah, we can't come up with logical reasons, so we're going to personally attack me.
Yeah. Also, self-roast. You cannot come up with a logical argument, Nick, and it's getting embarrassing. I can't believe someone wanted to procreate with you.
I understand. You're really winning this
No,
debate,
I'm just
bud.
asking you to stop interrupting me, and you can't control yourself like a little baby.
That's not how a debate works. You bring up a point, and it's fallacy.
I'll be the judge of that little bitch. We have 2 total ad hominems from Dean, outweighed by your ad hominems, at least 2 red herrings, and even a bandwagon fallacy. I don't want to hear it from you.
I can counteract that. I've been in debate.
Find that hard to believe.
Okay. All right. So let's go through it. I just want to clarify on what your argument is without you interrupting me this time. Your argument is because some secretary changed something in the bill to do with gun laws, that therefore when Donald Trump says that the final bill includes no tax on Social Security, even though the final bill does not include no tax on Social Security, Donald Trump is not lying.
No, I don't think the intent was to lie. I think that it was every intent to have that in the bill. But again, going back to...
Why should we go back to whatever he wants to steer the argument towards? Dean clarified his point, Nick confirmed what his point was, and then he immediately tried to pivot. Nick, you're very bad at this, quite frankly.
There are multiple cases of constituents with people who aren't even elected adjusting and changing and deleting things from the bill. That's not a fair assumption that he is lying.
Okay. So now your argument is, because he wanted it in the bill, even though it's not in the bill, if he says it is, it's not a lie. So I have a question. If I want to be in Cabo right now, even though I'm in Colorado, if I say I'm in Cabo, that's not a lie.
A bad analogy.
Okay, why is that an unfair analogy?
Is someone playing with your flight records and changing your shit on you so you can't make it to Cabo? Like that.
Nick tries to understand an analogy challenge. Impossible. This is a very surface level analogy, and the only time a Trump supporter wants to get very specific and into the weeds is when it's defending their favorite felon. Newsflash, Nick, the analogy itself can be as detailed as you want it. At the end of the day, it's about lying.
Wait, I mean, let's just assume that that's true for whatever reason. Assume that I have a plane ticket booked to Cabo, and then some hacker changes the destination.
I'm going to Cabo.
So you're interrupting me. So imagine I have some plane ticket booked to Cabo, right? And then some hacker hacks in and changes it to Australia. I get on the plane, I wind up in Australia. Would I be lying if I turned around and called my mom and told her I was in Cabo?
When your flight ticket has the same amount of pages as The Lord of the Rings, I think that's a pretty easy assumption, yes. And I wouldn't judge you for that.
Aw, you're not gonna judge him? How noble. You've yet to understand what an analogy is, Nicholas.
I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty logical. He thought he was going to Cabo. Who the fuck would fuck with his vacation?
So if I'm in Australia I tell my mom that I'm not in Australia, I'm not lying. So I just want to clarify, your argument is, if I'm in Australia and I call my mom and I tell her I'm in Mexico, I'm telling the truth? That's your position? What am I talking to?
I really like how he said, what am I talking to? Because that's such a subtle dig, and I doubt Nick even noticed. But it's such a valid question. This is a very simple analogy. It's embarrassing that the concept of a lie has to be explained to anyone over the age of maybe 6, if I'm being generous.
Do you? Wow, we gotta play fairy tale make-believe fucking, holy shit, let's just make the world and realities we know it whatever we want it to be. This is outrageous.
Hang on. No, stop. Let's even look at this from another perspective. Why would you not look at the person and ask, hey, why did someone change my shit?
That is such a stupid question and another red herring. The question Dean's posing is whether or not you lie about where you are. It matters not who changed something or whatever. You're in the situation you're in and you know about it. Do you tell the truth about that? No one should have to try this hard to explain this to an adult.
Why am I not in Cabo?
It was never included in the first place.
Why would we not ask that? Why is it that there were people who aren't elected officials who changed things in the bill last minute before it was submitted? Why are we not questioning that as a society?
So we can question that.
You go to Trump for that, but that has nothing to do with him.
Okay, red herring galore. Why are you asking so many questions instead of answering Dean's very straightforward question? It's not that hard. I'm gonna have to call it there. While this dialogue persists for another 20 minutes, I don't have the stamina to continue this behavior for much longer. If you're a Trump supporter, you should know this is how the world sees you. Childish, incoherent, and somehow the most egotistical people in the country. If you're not a Trump supporter, you should subscribe so that I could take ad revenue and donate it to the Election Truth Alliance's upcoming lawsuit in September. And you'll also support my lifestyle of going out to get a sweet treat once a month. Until next time, I am Logicat Fallacies and my script stops right there. What the...